The movie begins with a grand auction, where a 1937 Bugatti is put up for bidding on the stage. The auctioneer announces that it is one of the rarest cars in the world and that only 2 models of it exist globally. Everyone present is extremely excited to buy this beautiful Bugatti. The bidding starts at $30 million. Someone bids $32 million, another $34 million, and the bid continues to rise steadily. We are then introduced to a man named Jack. He contacts his boss and finally places a bid of $41 million, successfully purchasing the legendary Bugatti. On the other side, we see 2 brothers who are professional thieves. One is named Andrew and the other Garrett. Both are crazy lovers of luxury and supercars and have stolen the world's best cars. Andrew is angry with Garrett because Garrett's girlfriend stole one of their cars the previous night and ran away. They are waiting for Jack because Jack is going to transport the car by truck along the same route, and the brothers plan to steal the Bugatti. After some time, Andrew spots a truck and immediately recognizes that the Bugatti is inside it. They then put their dangerous plan into action. According to the plan, Garrett drives his car toward the truck, while Andrew prepares to jump onto the truck using a rope. As the truck comes closer, Andrew jumps, but his landing is not perfect and he almost falls. Somehow, he manages to hold onto the truck firmly. Garrett follows closely behind. Seeing Andrew hanging from the truck, Garrett brings his car closer, and Andrew barely manages to climb down onto the car. He then climbs onto the roof of the car and jumps back onto the truck. Garrett drives his car in front of the truck and starts blocking its path. Jack realizes that these people are after the Bugatti. The truck driver panics and doesn't understand what's happening. Jack puts a gun to the driver's head and orders him to ram the car in front. The driver repeatedly crashes into Garrett's car. Garrett realizes this won't work, so he turns his car and stops it directly in front of the truck. The truck crashes into the car, slowing it down. Jack starts firing wildly at Garrett, but soon runs out of bullets. Taking advantage of the moment, Garrett gets out of the car, climbs onto the truck, cuts the brake wires, and goes to Andrew. Andrew opens the truck door, and both of them enter inside. They quickly get into the Bugatti and try to start it. Meanwhile, Jack tells the driver to stop the truck, but the brakes have already failed. Jack gets out of the truck to handle the situation himself. The brothers finally manage to start the Bugatti and successfully steal the rare car. At the same time, the truck goes completely out of control and crashes badly. The brothers are extremely happy after stealing such an expensive car and go out to celebrate. There, Andrew's friend Stephanie is also present. Stephanie slaps Andrew hard and angrily asks why he didn't take her along for the Bugatti theft. Andrew promises that he will take her along on the next job. In reality, Stephanie is also part of their team. We learn that Andrew and Garrett are brothers from their father's side, and stealing expensive cars is the purpose of their lives. But they have no idea what is about to happen to them next. The next day, they go to a man named Jimmy to sell the Bugatti. Jimmy is the one who usually gives them car-stealing jobs. However, Jimmy refuses to take the car because he knows it doesn't belong to an ordinary person but to a very powerful criminal. Garrett insists that they delivered the car on time and demands payment. Jimmy signals his men, who capture both brothers. A brutal fight breaks out, but Jimmy's men are greater in number and beat Andrew and Garrett unconscious. In reality, Jimmy plans to return the car to its real owner because he doesn't want to mess with him. At the same time, Jack arrives there while searching for the Bugatti. Jimmy becomes terrified upon seeing him and says he didn't know whose car it was and that Jack can take it. When Andrew and Garrett regain consciousness, they find the real owner of the Bugatti standing in front of them. His name is Morier. They are tied to chairs at a high place, and Jimmy is the one who brought them there. Morier is a powerful businessman. Morier tells them his story. He was born into a poor family, started from zero, built an empire by robbing people, and is now a successful businessman. Furious, Morier says that stealing his car was the biggest mistake of their lives. He then kills Jimmy in front of everyone, as Jimmy was the one giving them jobs. Morier says he wants to show them something and takes them to a huge garage filled with the world's rarest and most legendary cars. The garage is packed with expensive vehicles. Andrew and Garrett are shocked and mesmerized by the sight. Morier tells them that he collects rare cars and loves them more than his own life. He reloads his gun and is about to kill them when Garrett cleverly intervenes and proposes a plan. They can steal an even more expensive Ferrari and give it to Morier. Andrew tells Morier the story of a man named Max, who was rich since childhood. Max joined university at the age of 15 and completed an MBA. Though 7 years younger than others, he was ahead of everyone in intelligence and decision-making. As he grew older, Max took over the family business in his own style. When Max turned 30, his father handed over the entire business empire to him and gave him a special gift, a 1962 Ferrari. There is only one model of this Ferrari in the world, and its value today is over millions of dollars. Andrew explains that their plan is to steal this Ferrari from Max. Max and Moyer are enemies, and Moyer has suffered millions of dollars in losses because of Max. Moyer wants revenge but believes stealing the car is impossible. Garrett asks for just one chance and promises to deliver the Ferrari. Moyer likes the plan and gives them 1 week. If they fail, they will be killed. Moyer's men then throw them into the water and leave. Garrett worries how they'll pull off such a big theft in just 7 days. Andrew says they must do it or die, and adds that this will be his final theft because he plans to marry Stephanie and live a peaceful life. Garrett argues that they can't quit, as theft is their livelihood. When they return home, Stephanie is angry because she waited for Andrew all day. Garrett tells her everything about Moyer. Stephanie insists on joining the plan and suggests including her friend Devon, a skilled pickpocket who uses her beauty and intelligence to steal wallets, even from police officers. Devon agrees to join, and Garrett immediately likes her. Since the plan is dangerous, they recruit an explosives expert named Lynn, who can blow up an entire house in moments. Lynn joins the team. They also recruit 4 professional race drivers after testing their skills, and all of them become part of the team. The group plans the heist together, assigning everyone a role and agreeing that each person is crucial. When they return to their apartment, an unknown man is waiting. Andrew grabs a baseball bat and asks who he is. The man introduces himself as Laurent, Moyer's cousin. Laurent says Moyer sent him to monitor the plan and help them. He knows someone inside Max's inner circle named Cohen, who manages Max's illegal operations. If Cohen helps them, they can find the location of Max's secret garage. The team meets Cohen, but he initially refuses because he doesn't trust Laurent. Stephanie steps in and praises Andrew and Garrett as the world's best driver. Cohen finally agrees on the condition that he tests their driving skills. Garrett's test is to drift the car without knocking over a bottle placed in the middle. He passes successfully. The next test is even more dangerous. They must stop a moving airplane with a car just before takeoff. Andrew tries hard to refuse, but Cohen clearly states that if they cannot stop the airplane, they should forget about Max. Andrew relays this message to Garrett over the radio, and without wasting any time, they head straight toward the aircraft. As they move toward the airport, the police begin chasing them because cars are not allowed to enter the airport area. However, due to Andrew and Garrett's incredible driving skills, they crash the police vehicles one by one and reach the runway at full speed. Garrett drives his car directly in front of the airplane and opens the car's roof. Just as the pilot is about to take off, Garrett rams the car into the plane's engine. After a massive explosion, the engine is completely destroyed and the plane is unable to take off. In this way, both brothers successfully pass the test. Cohen is shocked by their performance and, after witnessing their driving, accepts that they are truly professionals. He then tells them that the plane and the entire airport belong to Max. He advises them that it would be better to meet Max directly. Otherwise, Max will send his men to abduct them by force. Following this advice, they go straight to Max's mansion. Max sees them and asks, "Do you even know who you've messed with? Do you realize how expensive the plane was that you destroyed?" Garrett replies that if Max works with them, he can earn far more than that. They can steal the world's most expensive and rare cars for him. Andrew also speaks confidently and tries to convince Max that he can trust them. Max is impressed by their body language and manner of speaking. Ignoring the damage to his plane, he agrees to work with them. At the same time, Laurent starts a conversation with Max, saying that he is fond of rare cars and requests to see Max's car collection. Max is surprised at how Laurent knows such inside information. He is also aware that Laurent is Moyer's cousin, so he initially refuses. Laurent lies and claims that he hates Moyer because Moyer treats him like a servant and that he doesn't even want Moyer alive. Max somehow begins to trust Laurent and takes them to see his private car collection. Inside the garage, everyone is stunned by Max's rare and valuable cars. The 1962 Ferrari is also parked there, the very car that was already planned to be stolen for Moyer. However, Andrew focuses not on the cars but on Max. Through the glass, he secretly watches Max entering the garage security code. Later, Andrew writes the code down and gives it to Stephanie. After returning, an argument breaks out between Andrew and Laurent because Andrew does not want Laurent involved at any cost. He fears that Laurent might inform Moyer about the deal between them and Max. When they return to their apartment, 2 Interpol officers are waiting for them. They inform the brothers that they are investigating rare car thefts across Europe, and in every case, only 2 brothers' names appear, Andrew and Garrett. Before leaving, the officers warn them that next time they will come with solid evidence. Earlier, only Max and Moyer were after them, but now Interpol is also chasing the 2 brothers. Later, Andrew and Garrett talk privately. Andrew is troubled because this is the first time he has had to depend on such a large team. Garrett reassures him, telling him to trust the team and that they will get through this trouble. Meanwhile, Stephanie goes to the market for shopping. Suddenly, Jack silently approaches her and tries to kidnap her, telling her to come with him without making any noise. Stephanie acts cleverly and deliberately steals an apple. When the shopkeeper comes to take the apple back, she takes advantage of the moment and runs away. During the chase, another man appears, and together they manage to capture Stephanie. Elsewhere, Andrew and Garrett are on their way somewhere when Moyer's men confront them and start shooting. The brothers escape and return home, where Devon tells them that Moyer has kidnapped Stephanie. Hearing this, Andrew loses control of his anger. Without fear, he storms into Moyer's house and brutally beats Jack. However, Moyer pulls out a gun and tells Andrew that if he wants to see his friend alive, he must come along without asking questions. Moyer takes him to his garage, where Stephanie is tied underneath a running car, with a wheel spinning above her head that could fall at any moment. Moyer says that if Andrew wants to save her, he must bring Max's Ferrari to him as soon as possible. He must also reveal the entire plan and introduce him to the whole team. Andrew agrees, saying that he will introduce his team and explain the plan the next morning at the same place. After that, Stephanie is removed from under the car and locked inside a room. The next day, Andrew introduces Moyer to the entire team and explains the plan. First, they will steal a bulldozer. Then they will steal police vehicles and uniforms. After that, Devon will call Max and warn him that the police are coming for a raid and that he should escape immediately. Once Max flees his house, they will steal his Ferrari. While Andrew is explaining the plan, a large number of Max's men suddenly arrive, followed shortly by Max himself in a helicopter. Max approaches Moyer and says, "I know you're planning to steal my car. Whatever your plan is, I'm already 10 steps ahead of you." Saying this, Max leaves. Moyer becomes extremely angry at Max and tells Andrew that his team will steal Max's Ferrari the next day, and that he will come to the same place to collect the car. Moyer orders Laurent to keep an eye on the team. At night, Andrew, Garrett, and Laurent are sitting together and talking when suddenly the 2 Interpol officers arrive there again. The officers suspect that the group is planning something big. They warn them that they are being watched at all times. To handle the situation, Andrew starts a fake fight with Laurent, so the officers believe the team members don't get along. Andrew punches Laurent with full force. The officers step in and break up the fight, ending the confrontation. Angry about what happened, Laurent later raises his hand against Stephanie. However, Stephanie uses her intelligence and cleverly steals the key to the room where she is being held captive. The next day, Moyer heads toward the location where he had scheduled a meeting with Andrew to plan the theft of Max's car. Suddenly, the officers arrive there and start questioning Moyer. Meanwhile, Andrew's entire team is ready for the heist. It is revealed that they are not actually planning to steal Max's car, but Moyer's rare cars instead, and the entire game is being played in collaboration with Max. The team boards a bus and heads toward Moyer's house. On the other side, Stephanie escapes from the room and slowly makes her way to the security room. She hacks into the system, knowing the team is about to arrive, and activates the emergency alarm. The guards assume an intruder has entered the house and begin searching inside, allowing Stephanie to quietly escape. At the same time, Andrew and his team arrive. Stephanie opens the main gate from inside, and the entire team enters Moyer's mansion. Lynn immediately plants explosives on the garage door, and within seconds, the door is blown open with a powerful explosion. Before the guards can reach the scene, the team escapes with all of Moyer's cars. When Moyer's men rush to their vehicles to chase them, they discover that Lynn had already planted bombs in their cars. As soon as Lynn presses the button, all the cars explode, and the team escapes safely. Meanwhile, when Moyer refuses to give the officers any information, they attempt to arrest him. At that moment, Moyer realizes that these are not real Interpol officers. He orders Jack to act, and Jack opens fire, hitting one of the officers in the shoulder. Taking advantage of the chaos, Moyer escapes. Moyer quickly realizes that Andrew has stolen his cars and rushes after them. On the highway, Andrew suddenly stops his car, looks at Stephanie, and asks her to marry him. Stephanie happily agrees and immediately says yes. Moyer continues chasing them. To confuse him, Andrew changes routes and splits the team into two groups. However, Moyer and Laurent continue pursuing Andrew. A long and intense chase begins. Laurent gets extremely close to Andrew and is about to shoot him when Laurent's car crashes into an oncoming truck. A massive explosion follows, killing Laurent instantly. Andrew signals Lynn to prepare the final plan. The cars speed toward a bridge at full throttle. Upon reaching the bridge, Lynn throws a bomb. The explosion happens slightly earlier than planned while Andrew is still on the bridge. The road begins to collapse, but Andrew maintains full focus, accelerates at maximum speed, and barely escapes at the last second as the bridge completely collapses behind him. When Moyer reaches the bridge and sees it destroyed, he takes an alternate route to continue the pursuit. Andrew and Garrett reach the city with their team and head toward the port. However, Moyer suddenly appears at the port entrance. Andrew and Garrett stop their cars and step out. From a distance, Andrew tells Moyer that the game is over, but Moyer refuses to listen and drives straight toward them at full speed. Suddenly, a bus crashes into Moyer's car with tremendous force. The car explodes, falls into the water, and Moyer is killed instantly. The bus is driven by Devon. At the same location, Devon confesses her love to Garrett. The team loads all the cars onto a cargo ship, and the mission is successfully completed. It is then revealed that the two Interpol officers were secretly working with Andrew from the very beginning. Another major twist is revealed. Max was also part of Andrew and Garrett's plan from the start. The real plan was never to steal the Bugatti. The Bugatti was merely bait to trap Moyer and steal his rare car collection. Max is highly impressed with Andrew and his team, but he doesn't realize that an even bigger shock awaits him. A few days later, Devon arrives driving Max's Ferrari, worth $50 million. In reality, Andrew had given Devon the security code to Max's garage, and she, along with a separate team, steals all of Max's expensive Ferraris, cars that are far more valuable than Moyer's collection. In other words, Andrew and Garrett used both Moyer and Max. With this twist, the story comes to an end. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.